Hello, my name is Alex, and today I'm going to talk about how does learning a new language affects our current culture. Well, that's a really good question, and it has a lot of possible answers, but I'm going to go with this one. Basically, when learning a new language, we're going to have more access to a lot of information. That includes history, books, music, knowledge, news, current politics, current geopolitics, a lot of stuff. So when we start to bring those elements into our culture, we start to mix things a little bit, and it could be it's in a good way because uh, this is something I really like to um, focus on, and it's the language. And you know how Spanish is talked about in every country of South America and Central America, including Mexico. Well, every Spanish is different on its own way, and it's kind of an amazing thing because it's reflecting the people that's living in that location and what words do they use with their current objects and current activities. So just by mixing a new language with a culture that does not originally speak it, it's kind of an amazing thing because we're going to start to see mutations on the language, mutations on the writing, and most importantly on how we think. Okay, that's very important because with this new information that we're currently accessing, because we know English, for example, it's going to change how we think in a lot of ways. And some languages are capable of expressing things that other languages can. And that's very awesome because we're going to start to see things we haven't seen before. And what's a good example? Maybe, I don't know, Japan has a lot of meaning into stuff, into things, into rituals, into ways of thinking that Mexico simply does not have attached to its culture. It simply doesn't. It doesn't have that knowledge, that access to specifically because we don't know Japanese. Like most of Mexicans don't know Japanese. But that's what I'm talking about. There are certain things on other cultures that we are unaware of, and when we have access to these things by learning their language, we can uh, we can expand our mind, and also we can bring a little bit of that into our own um, environment, and that's very beautiful. Like culturally, that's very beautiful. Some people may not agree with me, a little bit more protective of their ancestry, of their culture, of their traditions, of how they do things. But myself, I see it as a very, very interesting and beautiful thing that's gonna happen everywhere. Because they say that in about 10,000 years, we're going to look the same. We're gonna speak the same language because everything's gonna get very mixed, and at one point, it's gonna be very samey. It's gonna be the same, and that's something I don't really like. I like the mutations, but I wouldn't like something like uh, just one language, just one race, just one culture. That's not something I'm very keen on happening, but it's gonna happen. That's the way things are. We are already living it. In fact, Mexicans ourselves are just a mix of one people with other people, and we are here and we are doing our own thing. I'm sorry, we're doing our own thing, and that's beautiful. That's gonna happen, and That's the thing. That's what I was talking about in this video. So let me look at the time real quick. I think we're good with the time. So yeah, that's basically my answer. And thank you very much, teacher. I hope you have a good night.